All right, you guys, welcome back to the Fahim Anwar Dance Hour.
Yeah, we couldn't be in the studio, so we're at our respective houses right now.
Yes, where are you, Fahim? Where are you right now? It looks like you're in like somewhere tropical.
Yeah, it's a tropical part of Tarzana. You know, it's pretty low key.
Oh, okay.
It's gated, so not a lot of people know about this area.
Yeah.
But I love it. That's kind of why I moved out here. I want to get into something bigger. Right now it's kind of quaint, it's cozy, but this is just like a starter home. I want to get to my forever home.
Oh, okay. No, I got you.
What about you? Tell me about your place. Yours looks really nice
right
too.
now. I'm here in my estate in London, like south of London.
Oh wow,
it's called Downton Abbey. So
they made a show about that place, right?
Yeah. I let them rent it out for a bit. But this is my estate, my library. You know, we have a lot of meetings in here.
What's your favorite book?
Oh, you know, one of them. The hundreds. I can't.
Can you pull one off the wall and read a passage to me?
Yeah, sure. Actually, I think I have. It's under my. It's under my.
Is it too hard? Is it too hard to get?
Yeah.
To? I mean,
yeah.
I get it.
Like, I'm kind of strapped in, like I'm buckled into my chair right now, so
right, you take podcasting very seriously, like it's a Formula One car.
Yeah, and
you're
for our
harnessed
listeners,
in.
Yeah, for our listeners who can't see, Fahim and I are on a Zoom call right now, and Fahim is in a very tropical beach house, and I'm in a giant library. So this is
podcasting has been very good to us. We haven't been up for that long, but this YouTube ad revenue it's pretty great.
We're grateful. But you know, this is kind of like a throwback to what we used to do when we were an audio only podcast, where we would kind of just do this kind of call where we would have to figure out like how to do it, but then people
and all that.
Yeah. So we pulled it off, and LA right now has ordered a second wave of lockdown. So
dude, it's a bummer. I was getting used to, like, obviously it's not ideal, but there were enough shows around town, and life felt normal enough because there was patio seating, and life felt the same, honestly, except you wear a mask to the store and you don't go to large events like a rave or a baseball game. But everything else, life was pretty much the same, you know?
Yeah.
But when you can't even dine out somewhere and you can't even do shows, it sucks because it's like you're regressing, you know? I had work. I worked throughout the week. Friday came, and in my mind I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go have breakfast at this place and just sit on the." And I realized I'm like, "Oh, that's not an option." It's like you can't even unwind.
Yeah. It's funny because I'm even regressing myself. Like, I mean, we as a podcaster, I mean, like before. Now we're going back to our digital communication, how we used to talk. But I've fallen into season one. I've gone back into season one of the quarantine. I'm at my this is my parents' estate here, and so I'm with them, and I open up a box of puzzles, like a jigsaw puzzle, 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle that I'm working on right now, and I'm like, this is what people were snapping during like season one of quarantine. In like March and April, like people were like, families were getting together doing puzzles, and I'm like, I'm doing this now, late stage.
Yeah, so you're binging it. You're binging season one of the quarantine.
Yeah, I'm going through that, and I forgot how stressful puzzles can be. Like I haven't done one in like 20 years or something, you know?
Yeah. Do you have a method?
I do. Right now, I have the border. You make a border. And then I'm grouping the colors together, and then I'm just kind of building from there. And I want to go like bottom up. I want to build from like, and I'm just I just sit there for like 20 minutes, just like looking at it. It's stressful, man. Like once a piece connects, it's like, it's 1,000-piece puzzle. Yeah. And then when
do they sell 10-piece puzzles? I'd be interested in that. Just like 10 pieces in a box.
Yeah, I feel like
I've got things to do.
2 hours. That would take me forever. I'd be like, fuck.
Or just a 2-piece puzzle.
Yeah.
It still takes you 10 hours. That's how dumb you are.
How was Seattle? You were up north for a bit.
Yeah, I was there for Thanksgiving. It was great.
Oh yeah, Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
Guys
visit the
played it
fam,
safe.
unwind. Yeah, you know how I got my dad that Rolex. Me and my brother got my dad a Rolex.
Yeah.
And I was worried, like, would he disown me and would he be mad? He like loves that thing. It's hilarious.
Man.
It's the complete
It's still
opposite
on
of
him.
how I thought he would react. Yeah, he doesn't take it off. He like loves it. he's in
sign
the
of wealth,
shower.
man.
He's doing yard work.
Hey man, it's what, like waterproof and everything. It's like, why not?
I guess maybe it is opulent, but it is practical. Of all the things you could get someone, I think a timepiece, even though it's expensive or whatever, it serves a function. And people always say it is the only piece of male jewelry that you could have.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Unless you want to be leather bracelet guy and like necklace dude.
Yeah.
And rings guy.
Awesome, man.
I can just imagine. It just seems like a lot of work being that guy. You wake up in the morning and you're putting on all these like leather bracelets and then all these necklaces, and then you got to put on your rings.
Yeah.
Just that ritual in the morning alone is like why I won't do it.
I tell, like, when I speak to like my friends, like females or women, I'm always like, the number one sign of like a red flag is if a guy's wearing rings. Any guy that ever wears rings, I mean, you can debate about wedding bands or whatever, but like single dudes, thumb rings, pinky rings, any ring on some dude's finger, red flag. This guy is toxic. It's not going to go anywhere. You're going to like.
Beware of accessories. The more accessories a guy has, don't be surprised if it doesn't work out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think I've heard of a successful relationship. Once the guy gets rid of his accessories, that's when he's ready to commit and be in a serious relationship. The guy has to wake up one day and look at like his little stand of jewelry, his necklaces and his rings, and be like,
he's making all these decisions on things that aren't you. If he cares this much about rings and necklaces and shit, his mind is occupied on trivial things.
Very true.
While I was home, did you see that Mike Tyson and Roy Jones Jr.?
Yes. That was what a shit. I mean, okay, that was a good fight. That was a solid fight. The fight before that.
Oh, okay. So the Nate Robinson,
Jake Paul. That was a shit show.
So here's what's crazy. I have a little bit of a tie and story to Nate Robinson. He went to University of Washington. That's my school.
Okay.
We went there around the same time. Obviously, he was like big man on campus, big little man on campus. And I played at the rec, what was it? Heck Ed Pavilion, or like the gym right there by the stadium. So I would go there to work out in college, and I'd play basketball sometimes. And then he came into the gym one day, and I was playing pickup basketball with Nate Robinson. So it was his team versus my team, and I picked him 3 times. I've got to say, I stole the ball from Nate Robinson 3 times. This is my claim to fame. Like, he's been in the NBA and has all these accolades and stuff, but like, I'm like Al Bundy. I stole the ball from Nate Robinson 3 times, and I scored on him once. So I could have gone pro, but my heart belongs to podcasting and stand-up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily you didn't humiliate him in other ways.
It wasn't a Jake Paul situation.
Global.
I just laid the ball up on him, and you can recover from that. This I don't know.
Did you?
I want to examine this. This is just so fascinating to me. So Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Why does he take the fight? Is it the money? He's probably made tons of money from the NBA. He doesn't need the money, right? It was $600K.
I think
they revealed.
I think they're donating money to charity or something.
Are they donating all that money to charity?
I don't know if they're donating all the money, but I know that a lot of. I think it was like the whole thing was for charity. That's why Mike Tyson in all of his interviews kept saying like, "I'm a humanitarian. I'm a humanitarian." You know.
So I'm just very curious how the fight came to be. Were they jabbing at each other on Twitter? And
I think that's where it started. Yeah, it started. So basically, you can trace this back to about 2 years ago. YouTube boxing, or it was like 2 to 3 years ago. YouTubers start boxing, like trying to fight one another.
Who was the first one?
It was, I think, it was Logan Paul, his brother, and
Uh-huh.
like some other like smaller YouTuber, and then it progressed to Logan Paul and KSI. Those are other like a British YouTuber, and then it was Jake Paul and KSI's like brother Deji, I don't know, another YouTuber.
Yeah.
So from there, and that was like, I think it was like Staples Center sold out. You know,
Yeah, I
then it was like
remember. It was a
pay-per-views
big
sold
thing.
out, and then
It's
yeah.
it's
So
gotta be
everyone wants
so
to get into this boxing thing.
Yes, it's got to be so frustrating if you are a world class. Because I read something today that even Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder, that fight, it got half the pay-per-views that Tyson and Roy Jones Jr. got, and Nate Robinson, like that. So
Yeah.
obviously they were great in their prime, but we've entered this new phase of combat and boxing where people just want to see personalities fight.
It's
Even if
celebrity
you're-
boxing all over
yeah,
again.
yeah. Remember, like everyone was shitting on that back in the day, and
Yeah.
now
Like, once
it's
your
like they
career
were
tanks,
they were too
you do
early. Remember
celebrity.
when everyone was shitting on Screech and all these other people fighting? It was just
Tanya
like, oh my god,
Harding.
this is awful. Yeah, and now people live for it, and it's just bonkers how if you're a famous enough person, people will pay more money to see two famous people amateur fight in the ring, as opposed to you being the best boxer in the world.
Yeah.
Like people would rather see Logan Paul and Jake Paul fight whoever than Tyson Fury.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It's insane.
or
It's insane.
Mayweather. They go, I'd rather see two YouTubers or some Twitch streamer fight.
Yeah. No, it's pretty obnoxious. I mean, it is what it is. I guess, you know, there's that sensationalism aspect to it, but then that's the problem. You watch, you know, you have all the clout in the fight, and, you know, everyone's kind of excited to watch, and then you tune in to non-professional boxers, guys like Jake Paul and Nate Robinson, and you see that these guys are not professional fighters just through like their technique and form. You can tell that they've been training, obviously, but it's not like these guys don't have like they didn't grow up boxing and training, and it looks like a high school cafeteria school fight, you know, like
Yeah.
that's
It just
what
looks like you threw gloves on a civilian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was like it's like a brawl. It was and then, you know, after, like before the undercard fights, you know, those fighters were very technical. They were good fighters. And then
Yeah.
you see this like high school brawl, and it's like, okay, let's watch these old men beat the shit out of each other, you know?
Yeah,
and
still not bad for their age. But I want to get into the psyche
yeah.
of Nate Robinson and try to figure this out. So
okay,
it's just a fascinating case study. So he obviously thought he could take Jake Paul.
yeah, he has like a 15-year age difference or a 10-year, something like that.
Like I want to understand that. Like, sure, he's a YouTuber, but just look at the physical stats. He's so much younger than you. He's not a string bane. He's still a muscular guy. It's like if you don't like his pranks or whatever he does, or if you don't like the guy, that's a different thing. You've got to be able to compartmentalize and just look at, all right, physically he's bigger. He's much bigger than me.
Yeah.
I think he just thought he was like a man, what is it? Like a dumb YouTuber or something, or
Yeah. No, and I think that's what it is. I think it was kind of like someone needs to teach this kid manners or a lesson or whatever. He's like this privileged, spoiled little YouTuber kid. And he was like, I need to knock him the fuck out. And I feel like maybe that's where he was kind of coming from. You know,
he thought it was
I
going to
think
be he thought it was going to be an easy fight. He didn't even think that it would be close. That's the only reason he
Yeah.
would even take the fight. He was probably certain that he was going to knock this guy out. Because if you aren't certain, why do you take that fight? If even a shred of you thinks that maybe it'll be close, what does Nate Robinson have to gain by losing? And then not only losing, but his was worst case scenario in the fashion that he lost. It wasn't like a draw. It wasn't like the ref coming in and he's a little dazed.
Yeah. It wasn't like the end
really
of
like
the,
trying to hug him and getting knocked out, and then his face like scooting on the mat, and he's out for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, it wasn't like
was
the
like
end of like 8 rounds and they tally up all the hits and everything and then they count. It was a clean knockout.
Worst case scenario happened for $600K, and was it worth it? If he had to reflect on, I know he put that statement out on Instagram, like blah blah blah, because like you have to, but in his heart of hearts, would he have done it over again? And I would think no, because his reputation or is immortalized in carbonite. That's it. That memory. You know how Ali's over Sonny Liston like this?
Yeah.
Nate Robinson is this. That's his legacy. And he's had a storied NBA career. He had so much going for him. Yeah. And for this sideshow to be what you the hat that your career wears.
He was like, I don't know. I've never heard of Nate. I'm not a basketball fan. But like during the fight, they listed his accomplishments and accolades. He was like, what, a 2-time slam dunk contest winner or something. And, unless maybe those stats weren't as accurate, anyway, but,
I just don't understand.
An NBA career.
I don't understand people doing things where they have nothing to gain. What is that?
Yeah.
Whatever. I just wanted to talk about that.
It was a very fascinating night, and it was about a week ago, and I was just a little too taken. Like, I think that overshadowed the Mike Tyson fight, because everyone was on Twitter just being like, what the fuck was that? And then the memes were going and the jokes were going, and once you become a meme, oh man, damn.
Yeah.
Like,
Michael Jordan cries once.
That? Yeah. But that was a historical, cultural moment. But, the Tyson fight was solid. That was great to see two massive legends getting in the ring again. And, even I don't think anyone would ever want to, even at Mike Tyson's age, would ever want to take a punch or hit from Tyson, Yeah. But that was fascinating, man.
I think Tyson won, but I think they probably had it in their contract where no matter what happened, they're going to call it a draw.
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah.
I bet there was egos on the line, and they're doing it for charity, or it's almost like this, just doing it for the fun of it. So in there, they just wanted to save face and not have a clear winner. I think regardless of what happened, they were just going to call it a draw because it was pretty obvious it wasn't.
Yeah, it is what it is. It was an exhibition fight, no titles, nothing was on the line.
Right.
But yeah, what a crazy time. But it's funny because I was visiting my family, or I'm still here with my family in Virginia in my castle, my estate, and there I want to. Have you ever noticed that like visiting Seattle, the suburbs of Seattle? Depression is a weird thing, like LA depression versus like Virginia winter depression, right? So, and I was noticing this because the other night I went to get some groceries at like 8 p.m. and it felt like I was doing a 1 a.m. grocery run because it's just like deserted, dead, dark. It feels like it's been night for hours, and so I pull up to the grocery store and I noticed that like winter here, you can be as bummy as you want. You can be fucking slippers, like, your bunny slippers, baggy sweats, like your depression clothes, that's how you can walk outdoors. But in LA, even as depressed as you are, if you step outside the house to make a grocery run, you still got to look presentable. And I was like, it was a very weird dynamic that I saw that I noticed, where it was like LA has like this glamorous depression thing during the winter. Like you can't, like I've even in working class neighborhoods like Koreatown or East LA that I've been living in, like I can go to the grocery store at like 9 p.m. and I'll never see anyone like just like giving up. They're like, you got to kind of put on a little bit, look a little nice, or like at least casual. But here it's just kind of like, I don't give a fuck how like, I guess maybe it's the element of the cold and misery.
Yes, I think it's that. I think because the number one thing is warmth. So you could wear a giant jacket and you care about that more than what people think of you. And everyone understands that. Just warmth reigns supreme and everything else is secondary. And also a giant coat It's kind of easy. You could have shitty clothes on. You throw a coat on that covers 75% of your body, so you don't really have to dress up. There's less clothes in LA because it's so hot. So if you're slumming it, it's pretty obvious. You can't hide it with a giant coat.
Yeah, and
we cracked it.
I was like, it was just so fascinating. Where I was like, man, and like in LA, even as depressed as you don't want to do anything, even on the cold winter days. I mean, it gets pretty cold in LA. It doesn't get like the 20s and 30s like out here on the East Coast. It hits the 40s out there, in LA during the wintertime. But I'm like, there's a little edge to it where it's like, oh, I gotta look presentable if I step outside, But yeah, I was like, oh man, I never noticed the
difference
that vast of a difference. Yeah.
I had this thought when I was home for Thanksgiving. Like when because like I'm the only one without a spouse or whatever, like I'm the only one who's like, yeah, or just like get-togethers in general. But Thanksgiving, it's really magnified because everyone has their significant other, and then you're just sort of like rogue. You're just like, you feel like a drifter that they picked up off the side of the road. Like obviously, I'm their son and stuff, but I also like it because the burden of the pleasantries and stuff and like talking a ton, I don't have to do it as much. I feel like a ghost. Like when you're a single person at Thanksgiving or a get together or like a spouse type party, it's almost like you're a ghost and you're just watching these people have a party. You're part of it, but you don't have to be integral to it. You get to enjoy everything about it and just kind of like lay in the cut. But when you're coupled up, you're doing work. It's a lot of work. Some people love it. Some people, that's how they recharge their battery. But it's just funny how if you are a couple at one of these parties, you're punching in your time card, and you've got to play the game. But when you're a single dude, you're just kind of like no one really cares, in a good way. I like it.
Yeah. I find it the opposite though. I feel like because all my cousins have gotten married, my older sister's gotten married. So whenever we get to these locations, it's just kind of like, oh, Ali, the one who's got nothing going on. Let's hear the train wreck of your life. What's going on? So then it's like, oh, all eyes on me.
Well, that's because you guys are the same.
Maybe it's just a me.
No, because I think they're your age. With me, there's a disparity, It's like it's like my parents and their friends and stuff like that. And
okay, yeah.
And my brother
at that point,
and his wife. So there's not like a bunch of my peers drilling me or whatever.
Yeah,
I just get to be the ghost in the corner, and it's fun.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. How was that though? How was Thanksgiving with COVID and everything? You guys?
It was cool.
Played it
kept
safe.
the distance, and I mean, I just don't get super close enough, but we're mindful.
Yeah. Everyone came back. You guys good? No symptoms. No one's got anything.
Yeah, everyone's good. And then even flying, I like Delta because they keep the middle seat open. I also have miles with them, and I just have the N95 mask on the whole time. They bring waters. I just don't take that mask off from when I get in the Uber to when I get home. I think it's safe that way, so long as you're not taking it off and doing all this shit. I don't get a coffee at the airport. It just goes on, and in my mind it protects me until I get there, but who knows.
Can I flex for a second? Can I just flex for once?
This is why I had the podcast, just merely a place to flex.
A place to flex. Mm-hmm. So I flew Thanksgiving Day, the day of Thanksgiving, to go home to Virginia. The plane was like practically empty, so empty that they upgraded me to first class. So this was my first class flight,
bro. Now you can't go back.
Ecstatic, bro. But it was funny because I saw Aristotle travel a couple weeks ago, and he had like a hazmat suit on, and I was and I messaged him.
Aristotle, yeah.
And I messaged him. I was like, "Oh, I love this idea. I'm gonna get one too." So I got a full on from Amazon. I ordered like a $20-$30 disposable hazmat suit.
That's it?
Full on white. Yeah.
I want to wear that just to go to Vons or go to the grocery store. So I'm just like picking out an avocado in a giant biohazard suit.
Yeah. I bought those
like
face.
I want to wear that whole suit and then just kind of have a spring in my step. Like people think I'm worried about dying from this pandemic or whatever, but I'm still like, I have headphones on and I'm buying groceries and I'm like, top of the morning to you.
You're like, this is the new normal. This is how it's gonna go. You know, you're gonna enjoy what you have. It's a beautiful day.
I'm still gonna live my life. I'm just protecting myself. So you got the thing.
Yeah, so I had it. I had I bought those face shields as well. That was awful. The one I had fogged the fuck up. So I was like, damn. But yeah, no, I was, and then I got off the plane, got my baggage, and my sister came and picked me up, and I'm just like standing there outside with like my suitcase.
Did she know that you were gonna be dressed in that?
Yeah. I sent them a selfie when I was on the flight, and my sister was like, "What the fuck? Like, just take that off. It's not that serious." But I liked it. I was like, "Hey, man."
I want to set up a date. I want to set up a date and then say like, meet me at this coffee shop or whatever. And then I'm just there in that suit, but holding roses. And I'm like, Jessica? Hey, it's me. Anyways, I was thinking, we could go to the park.
I should do that.
I brought you a hazmat suit in case you want to get a little closer.
Oh my God, I got to do that. But yeah, I like that, and it was like an empty flight and everything. But that was my first class experience, and I was just,
once that happens, you're almost angry. You go, oh, this is how they've been living. Like if you people in the back knew how they're living up here, there'd be like a riot.
Yeah, dude, it was funny because like I got to Virginia, and my aunt and my cousin, it was like a very, very, very small family gathering, even though I know CDC, the government, everyone said not to travel, not to do Thanksgiving.
And everyone has to downplay how big it'd be. Like it was a very, very, very small gathering.
Nobody. It was just mean. Like
it was 2 people. We split my family up. We had different groups. So they Airbnb'd a place. My brother and my dad. I had Thanksgiving with me and my mom, and even we were on separate wings of the house as well. We had walkie-talkies, and we said, "How is your turkey?" We took all the precautions. We got COVID tested before, during, and after, and everyone was good.
I made sure not to snap it because I didn't want the backlash.
Dude, that's the other thing too. I think everyone has a different idea of what's acceptable and what's not. So you might be doing something that 80% of the population is doing, but then you're worried about the 20% killing you. Yeah. So you're just like, I might as well go dark. Yeah.
Yeah. And, and I feel like, look, I'm on the side of the people. I agree. I think there should be backlash. I'm a hypocrite. I admit that. The hypocrisy. And it's funny because of this hypocrisy. So when I got there, like later, I landed like an hour before like the family dinner, and I came home, shower, changed, went over, and I told them the story that I got upgraded to first class. And then, oh man, I had it. They're like, this guy's over here fucking talking about communism and equality, and you go sit in the most classist seat. There's a clear division of first class and the poor class. I was like, shit. I was like, look, man, once you get that taste of luxury.
What if you love capitalism?
I'm a capitalist. I'm a capitalist.
You do a 180. You go, some people are better than others, and the better I do, it'll trickle down to 36F.
Look, I don't need the peasant. I need to be separated from the peasants. This is why I live in this massive, luxurious library.
You need to be able to fully recline, like horizontally in your first class seat. I flew first class a couple times, just whenever it's for a Hollywood thing or something.
Oh no, we lost you, Fahim. Oh, there you are. Oh no, we lost you. We got a turtle. So the viewers who are listening. Oh,
am I back?
Fahim's video cut out. Fahim's back now.
I'm back.
We have Fahim's video. As long as we have your audio, everything should be good.
Yeah.
But so yeah, you're traveling you got upgraded? Or you got booked?
Yeah. Or sometimes I'll book a TV thing or a movie thing, and then they fly you out. So you feel like a rich person for a weekend or for a week, even though you're not, but you get to live it just for a little bit. And I'm just always so grateful when I get to experience that world. They're like, but then you're sitting next to people who it's their way of life and it's just second nature to them. And that always strikes me as odd how they just take it for granted because they're so used to it. Like they would come by before takeoff on the tarmac. They're like, would you like orange juice or champagne or like a cookie? And I was like, I'll do an orange juice. Oh, thank you. Like I'm very nice. And then there's like a business guy next to me who's like, yeah, I'll do a champagne. Like you can just tell in the tone of his voice that she's like a robot and not a human.
Yeah.
It just struck me.
They came around with like
oh.
So this is one of the perks. I'll let you peasants in on how it kind of goes down in the first class, you know? So the lady came around with like the snacks, but she came and she said, take as much as you want. I was like, excuse me? As much as I want. I took two.
You said that to the wrong man. You're going to be here a while. You're Homer Simpson.
I fought that urge to be that person to just get like 2, 3. Like other people were like, yeah, we're taking everything on this tray. I just took 2 stroopwafels, you know, those little Belgian stroopwafels or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, thank you. This is it. This is all I want. Goodbye.
You pretended like you do this all the time. You go,
yeah, I was like,
that's
yeah,
enough.
I'll just take 2. I'll take 2. Yeah. You know. Oh wait, please shoot.
All the time.
But it's so I got to Virginia, and then a couple weeks ago I had some like fraud kind of thing detected on my like debit cards or whatever. So I just replaced all my debit cards. You know, I only have 2, so I replaced both of them, got new cards, and this I want the listeners to learn from my mistake. When you dispose of your old cards, please destroy them. You know, I made the mistake where I took my old cards and I just tossed them in the trash can. You know, I mean they're old, they're defective, they're deactivated, they don't work. But in Koreatown, individuals rummaged through the garbage looking for recyclables, and you know, I guess they came upon my trash bag. They opened it up, found a couple credit cards, and every other day I get emails from Wells Fargo being like, your old card just got declined. It was swiped at 7-Eleven. So someone rummaged through the trash, found my credit cards. Now they're going to like 7-Eleven, the taco shops, like swiping this card to see if it works. And I mean, to their misfortune, it doesn't work. But
how dumb do they think they are where people just throw away active debit and credit cards?
I don't know, man. But they tried, and the thing is, they've tried multiple times, and I don't think they know that like this card. I don't know. I guess it just says declined, you know. But like after like the 4th swipe, it's got to be like, oh, this card must be deactivated.
Yeah,
you know?
He's like the Rudy of identity theft.
They just keep trying.
If I persevere, eventually it'll say accepted.
Yeah, so every day I get like a little email being like $5 attempt at 7-Eleven, you know. So
and I know it's go out to that guy like keep on plugging away, dude.
Yeah, you know, I'm a little
I like
blown.
Your heart.
Because obviously he has to go and get the snacks and put it on the table, wait in line. Maybe there's a couple people. And then the guy rings it up and he's like, okay, I'm going to swipe. He swipes and it's like decline. He's like, let me try it one more time. And he decline. And then he has to walk his shame his way out of there.
I'm the guy doing it for the 25th time. All right, I'm at 7-Eleven. I have my stuff on the counter. And then I just did it.
Okay, sir. That's $25. Sir, it says your card's been declined.
Sad piano music.
This has been your 25th attempt in this last day, sir.
What should I do with the stuff that I brought?
You could leave it here. I'll put it back. You don't get the stuff. I'm sorry. Just because you have attempted multiple times doesn't mean you still get it. You know.
But I have.
Yeah, even the. I'm sorry. You got to leave it here. Even the Planters peanuts, you got to leave it.
Can I have the donut?
No, I'm sorry, sir. We got a line. You got to keep moving. There's a line. You're holding everyone up. Hey, get the fuck out of there, man. Hey, this guy's card got declined.
And he keeps on doing that. He keeps on going. He puts himself through that multiple times.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, I know it's a 7-Eleven right by my house too, because like no one's gonna get the card and go like across town. You're gonna go to the club. So now when I get back to LA, I'm gonna like camp out and be like, look, man, give me the card. I'll give you some cash. Yeah, I'll be like, look, I'll give you some cash. Just give me the card.
Yo, but, so I was back home, right? And one thing I've realized, so I have this writing job, right? We've talked about it.
Congrats on that. Yeah, it's been a full week or so.
It's been a full week, yeah. So
have you adjusted to real work? Because this is like the first time in
it's hard.
Like a decade.
I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say, and people probably hate me just the way I'm describing it. But
yeah,
look, I used to work at Boeing. I had a regular 9 to 5.
But that was like a decade ago.
I was so long ago, but I did it for 3.5 years, 4 years. So I am aware of it. I have done it. I'm accustomed to it. Yeah. But I have been just living this bohemian stand-up actor, writer lifestyle. And writer would be kind of freelance. It'd be a job here. I mean, the way I would kind of describe my profession prior to this writing job is just stand-up at night, an audition maybe 2 times a week or something, just driving for an hour, an hour chunk out of my day to audition for something.
Yeah.
Maybe I book an acting thing and that's 3 days. So stand-up was the constant. I'd always just do stand-up at night, and then little blips here and there throughout my life, which is an acting job or
you're gone for a couple weeks here, a couple days there. Yeah.
So stand-up in LA, or maybe I'm doing a weekend somewhere at a comedy club, or like. But the thing is, those shows, I work Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the shows are like I do 45 minutes to an hour. Mm-hmm. But that's just me on stage. That's like the real work, like actual, if you want to think about the time I'm punching in. But obviously, it's just such a nebulous workflow, stand-up, because you realize a big part of the job description and requirement is having that idle time to let your mind wander and think about things and ponder life. Like if I'm at a cafe and I'm in a booth, or I'm a diner, I'm at a diner, I'm by myself, I have coffee, I'm just thinking about things.
Yeah.
It's like time to be a philosopher, or just ideas come to you, you're ready to receive, and you jot those down. You have the time to catch the butterflies, these kernels, these beautiful ideas that eventually you mold over time into, be it a sketch, a stand-up bit, whatever. You just have that time to kind of marinate. When you have a writing job, you are focused on this task. It's a Zoom writer's room, but you are writing this episode with like 9 other people from 10 to like 5, from 10 to 5 or like 5:30.
Yeah.
So that is a lot of brain power that you're just thinking about that. You know what I mean?
About work, yeah.
About work, or you're being creative, but in a very specific way, and it is they're renting your brain essentially, right?
Interesting way to explain how to work.
They're renting your brain. Goes. So all my focus has to be on solving what this character would say, or what they could do stage direction wise, or what needs to happen in the story next. So we're all collaboratively working on that. So all that time you're doing that, you're not thinking about like, oh, this is interesting about relationships, or oh, this is you can't daydream as much. Yeah. For stand-up creativity. So it's twofold. It's just there's a little bit of a mental burnout if you want to keep the same pace as your stand-up. And then also just on a personal level, I've never had that much time out of my day eaten by work since I've been working at Boeing,
Yeah.
So that's a new concept, just because I've gone so long being this bohemian stand-up.
Yeah.
But there's trade-offs. I'm learning things from the writing job. I'm meeting cool people, and the connections you make, and the money is good, and it's a new lane I get to have for my career. I forgot who said it, but a great way to look at your career is just sort of in entertainment. I don't know if maybe there are parallels for other fields, but you're a hub. And then there's spokes. So stand-up is a spoke. acting as a spoke, and now writing as a spoke.
Yeah.
So even I've done the stand-up thing. I'm still good at it. I still have ideas. I have my nights and I have weekends. I'm just probably not creating at the breakneck speed that I used to when I had all my time. But I still write pretty fast. And part of it is just your brain adjusting to the new workflow. And I'm obviously better off now than maybe day one or day two. Because day one is just sort of like a bucket of cold water. Your brain's like, what's this? Your brain's like, I want to be in bed. Yeah. But I'm used to it now, and I figured it out. Okay. So anyways, that was a tangent. I forgot why I got into that. But, I meant to say when I went home, I just realized my dad loves that I have this job.
Oh, no way. He's like 9 to 5, finally.
I realized it wasn't a comedy thing. I always thought that he just hated comedy and it was beneath me and it was just a black mark on the family and I'm a clown or whatever. But I think he just loves 9 to 5s and security and punching in and corporations and structure. It's the only thing he can wrap his head around. He can only wrap his head around sitting in a chair 8 hours and taking a lunch. Yes. Everything else is like, I'm just some homeless guy in Venice, rollerblading and shit. Like my dad just thinks I've been in LA rollerblading for 14 years or whatever. Just like,
You're that dude in San Diego. Yeah. What's that guy in San Diego? Slow-mo that just skates around the boardwalk.
I'm just doing this. My dad just thought I was doing this my whole life.
For the listeners, Fahim is spinning in his chair. For the listeners who can't see what Fahim is doing, he was twirling in his chair.
So he just thought I was doing that, and then now that he hears that I've got this job, he's like asking. I've never had my dad ask me more questions about comedy or actually be this inquisitive about my comedy life.
Oh man, I love this.
Yeah, he'll be like, so how do you come up with a story? So like for the sitcom,
now he's interested.
Like now he wants to know the nuances of comedy writing, and he goes, "Is there like a main guy, like a main boss?" Or I go, "There's these EPs. They kind of steer the ship, and then everyone else suggests."
Oh, so he wants to know about the corporate structure and how the hierarchy of the show.
Yeah, he wants to know the dynamic of how an episode is crafted and stuff. Yeah. I've just never had my dad ask a question and a follow-up question about my life. It was just so foreign to me. He almost sounded like a comedy nerd for a second,
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, but he loves the money. He loves the I have
the benefits, everything.
A contract to work for a while. He just loves like long runway. Whereas I was cool with just,
I get that.
I don't know, maybe it seems bohemian and scary and risky, but if you put the work in doing the stand-up and you are at a certain level, I think everything works itself out. Yeah. But some people need that I have a job. They would rather take the security over the betting on themselves.
Yeah, no, I get you. I get that. It's funny that came up, and this happened recently because yesterday I got an email from a former employment. MTV hit me up, and they're like, "Hey, Ridiculousness is coming back. Are you down to come back on as a producer?" And I like thought about it, and I was like driving home from like another meeting I was at, and I was like, I really want to go, like, because I left it like voluntarily. I was like, I'm at the end of a couple seasons I left, and I was like, time to continue, like, start my production company and take this on. Yeah.
I heard you got fired because you weren't ridiculous.
That was rumors, but I think I was the most ridiculous individual on Ridiculousness.
Yeah.
Maybe I was too ridiculous. Maybe that's,
That'd be good if you're being job interviewed for Ridiculous. You go, some people say I'm too ridiculous.
Oh man, I remember I had that when I went in for the job interview. It was just such a interesting. There's two individuals that were interviewing me, and I was like, I'm okay. I'm like, this. I've never had two people, but I'm like, okay, two at a time.
Yeah.
And I had like my book of notes of like everything. I had like notes, and they're like, so how much do you want to get paid? And I just started doing math for them. They were like, what? So I was like, well, so, this is the average income, or like, how much the rate that so-and-so gets paid producers. And if you look at this, and I'm just like doing math for them, and they're just like, just give us a number, dude. You don't need to tell us how you got to this
How you got there, just give us a number.
Yeah. Yeah. But I think I hit them up and be like, I was like, yeah, I'm interested. But I might pick back up at MTV for like at least a season. I was like, I'll do it, because right now a lot of work is remote. I'm editing from home.
Yeah.
And they're like, the work is remote as well too, so I don't have to go into the office. So I'm like, oh, fantastic.
Even this job, Zoom right now, and then it's also kind of a shorter contract, I think like a year, and you get to feel it out. But one thing, when I was home, I was there for a while, so there was Thanksgiving, then the weekend, and then Monday and Tuesday are work days. Yeah. And I kind of got hired on. This thing kind of just it was fast tracked, like kind of happened pretty fast. I wasn't planning for it, so I scheduled Thanksgiving before I got the job. So I already booked everything, and Monday and Tuesday were work days. But I just did it via Zoom from home.
Yeah.
But my dad, he's almost living vicariously through me because he's retired now, and he just loves jobs so much. He's almost like my spokesperson, because they'd be like, He has to work tomorrow. He has to go to bed, and he's trying to like. Does he have lunch for tomorw for his lunch break?
Oh my God!
Because
he's prepping you like it's your first day. Yeah.
Well, he just retired, so he's playing me like a video game character because he loves work. He misses work. He hasn't been retired for that long, and he's like, I made a mistake. Why did I leave? He doesn't know how to operate. It's like Shawshank when Morgan Freeman leaves. He doesn't know how to operate in the real world. So when I come and I have a job, he's like, okay, is everything ready? Is he comfortable? Yeah, it's just funny.
Get him to see. Don't talk to him. Leave him alone.
Yeah, I go, this guy's more excited about my job than I am.
I know. Oh, man.
I mean, I like it, but he loves it more, just the structure.
Hey, this feeling that you're feeling, it's called supportiveness. He's being supportive.
What? This is weird. It's foreign to me.
Yeah, like what is this feeling? Someone supporting my father.
It's almost so foreign to me, and I get so little of it that I don't like it because it's foreign to me.
Yeah. Because it's like I've never had this kind of relationship.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with it. I don't know how to compare. It's sort of like me and my dad. We love each other, and like my brother loves my dad, and we all know there's love, but like we don't hug. We like, I'm more emotional with my mom. Like I'll hug her. I'll be more affectionate with my mom just because we grew up that way. And my dad was more of like a stern father figure. You could talk to him and stuff, but it was more cerebral. It wasn't as affectionate. And so my mom will be like, hug your dad. And just both of us don't want to. We love each other, but it just feels so weird.
Everyone has their different love languages.
It's almost like telling me to kiss a guy or something, not as, but it's like the same
forced.
Same biological reaction. Like, not that there's anything wrong with kissing guys, but for my preferences, I have to put that out there, like it just feels weird. Like, I'm not into this, and he doesn't want it either. And it's not that we don't love each other; it just feels forced and foreign because we never did it growing up. If there's no precedent. Or if there's no precedent, it feels weird.
No, I get you. I know.
What about you? Do you hug your dad?
Same thing. Well, see, he works overseas, so he comes home once or twice a year for like a week or two. So, when I like pick him up from the airport or he gets in, I'm like, hey, Salam, just one hug. That's it. And then from there on out, it's like we don't really touch or hug.
Yeah, but I'll probably hug my dad when I leave. It's quick. Like when I
like a hey, goodbye hug.
Yeah. Maybe when I come, it'll be like a handshake or a hug, and then like a hug on the way up. But there's like nothing. There's no middle hugging going on.
Yeah.
There's no recreational hugging going on.
Yeah, no one in my family hugs one another. Like my sisters, my mom, my dad, no one hugs anybody.
I'll hug my
But now
mom
it's like,
all the time.
oh no, yeah, no, I mean, like when I come from like a trip, it's like, hey, salam, hug. That's it. That's it. You know. But besides that, there's no.
I'm very
but
curious.
now I think.
To any other Afghans who listen, what is you and your dad, like I'm talking to guys, what is your relationship with your dad? Is it similar to what I'm describing, or do you hug your dad? Is he affectionate? I want to know what the spectrum is. I want to know if we kind of settle in on a common theme, or my dad's an outlier.
Please email us your answer for the Afghan men that are listening at
fahimanwardancehour@gmail.com.
Dance Hour. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to know, but I think, we're trying to change that and become more of an affectionate family towards the new kids, like my niece and nephew. It's like we're trying to introduce that to them. It's like, hey, it's okay. You can hug. We can tell you we love you and be affectionate with them.
I don't blame my dad because I'm sure that's how he was raised, and you are a product of your environment. So it would feel weird to him, and I don't need that to know that he cares. You know what I mean? Like he's shown it in other ways.
Yeah.
I don't need but it is comical though. Just how different it is, where like the no hugging, and then also like not like I used to joke, like a Middle Eastern dad will never ask you, are you happy? That is a question that does not exist.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more like it's more about survival questions. How much, like, do you have a job? How's the car doing? You should get a new apartment. You should put some paint. It's more like life stuff.
Yeah.
They don't really care about your emotional state or mental state.
Yeah, no, that's not on. I remember I was dating this girl, and she would like, and this was like new to me too. I was like in my early 20s, and she would like text her family or her mom or dad and be like, all right, I love you, this and that. I'm like, you tell your parents you love them? Like, what? And they tell you that they love you? They're like, yeah, that's normal. I'm like, no, that's not normal. Like, who? That's really weird that you have to tell your parents.
What kind of Full House shit is this?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what kind of fucking like lovey-dovey sitcom sentimental bullshit is this? But for
I
like,
think I've
again,
talked
like
about...
to us, it's like different love language. I don't need like my family to tell me verbally that they love me. It's like, people tell you they love you in different ways, And I was like, I never needed my parents to verbally say that, like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You were saying?
I had to ask you this. I'm switching gears here. Zayn Malik, baby with Gigi. What do you think?
It's exciting, man. It's exciting. He's
You sent him a gift?
Yeah. I sent him a couple, baby shower gifts, whatever was on his registry.
Nice.
And I haven't heard back yet, but I'm sure they love it. I'm sure they're using it. Yeah, it's new, and they're celebrating their holidays together as a family, and he's trying to keep the ethnic father Baba, that's like apparently is what he goes by, so
Whoa.
It's exciting times. He's young though too, man. Like, damn.
Yeah.
Both of them are hella young to have. I mean, but that's what it is when you're in that brown community. Get married young and have a kid young.
Sure. Well, and it helps that you have millions of dollars.
Of course, yeah, that's super helpful. Whenever there's like this one Jake Paul video where Jake Paul's like outside of Zayn's like hotel door, trying to be like, "Hey, I just want to talk to you," and Zayn's like, "Get the fuck out of here!" It was so weird, super weird thing. Yeah, I went to the other night. I went to the theaters here in Virginia.
What?
I was the only one in the theater, only individual there.
That's pretty cool.
Because it was like a Wednesday, Thursday night. No one was there. I went to watch the new David Fincher film, Mank.
How was it?
It was good. It's on Netflix right now. But I was like,
watching it on Netflix. I've seen the first 10 minutes. What's up with the audio? I know they're trying to make it sound like The Time, but it's just shitty.
What? Maybe it's your speakers, bro.
I don't know. I think they're trying to make it sound old-timey or whatever, like an actual one of those films.
and that was the thing I liked, where it was like there would be times in the film that I would forget that this was filmed in 2020 or 2019 and be like, oh shit, this is not a film that was pulled from the 40s and 50s. And then there's some scenes where I'm watching, I'm like, clearly this was filmed during this day and age and just black and white. But yeah, even like throughout the filming it, they would like, when they would transition from one scene to another, instead of like, for us on computers, we would put like a fade, like the fade out, but like when they're filming this, they did how they used to do it back in the day and turn off all the lights on set, like dim all the lights to like go to black.
Oh, that's cool.
So they did some elements to keep, keep it black and white, I guess, true. But I liked it. David Fincher is one of my favorite directors. That's why I was like, I need to watch this in theaters, get that theater experience. And on top of that, when I was watching it, I love Nine Inch Nails. Like, I don't know if I brought this up earlier or the other week. I was watching Nine Inch Nails got inducted into the Hollywood, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Did I rant about this?
You told me.
Okay. They got inducted. I don't know if I brought this up in a previous episode, but like Miley Cyrus was there. Anyway, so when I was watching this, Trent Reznor from Nine Inch Nails has done like the last like 4 or 5 David Fincher films. Social Network, Gone Girl, Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I think that was it. Over the last 10 years, it's been like a collab between the two. Mm-hmm. And I'm sitting there watching this film, and it's like old school Hollywood jazz, music, classical music. And I'm like, God damn, like, I guess there goes Fincher's collab, like decade-long collab with Trent Reznor. And then I got home and I looked it up, and I was like, oh shit, Trent Reznor actually did this music, which was completely just different from what he's done before, because again, it's very like classical jazz, upbeat tempo. It's not like weird synths, dark synths,
Well, I wonder, it gets murky once you get that successful. Like Hans Zimmer doesn't do all his own stuff. He just kind of has a bird's eye view, and he has like a guy under him who probably does most of the work. So I'm wondering, when it's that genre different, they probably just go, hey, Trent, is this good? And he's like, yeah, beef up the sax is here. And, I wonder if he really has the paper and the pencil and he's composing it like that. I think once you reach a certain level, you could just slap your name on it and you are sort of involved. But I don't know. I'm not trying to throw shade.
That's
Obviously,
true.
He's a brilliant musician, but I don't see him doing jazz and whatever. It's more of like a DJ Khaled type thing, or... Yeah. When Kanye has an orchestra, he's like, more violins, and then go bah, bah, bah,
Well, as a major mega Reznor fan, I would like to believe he's the guy writing the chords.
He goes, give me that sax.
Yeah.
Give me that cello.
Yeah, I like to believe that he's the one composing,
Sure.
But no, it was a cool film. If you like old Hollywood and you like those stories and films and care
his
about...
name's Mank, see? That's me auditioning for it. Fahim Anwar for Mank. Who's this Mank, you say? Yeah, I've met him 2 times, 3 times. And see.
Oh, crazy cameo. I'm watching the movie, and they're talking a lot about like Upton Sinclair, and then there's a small little cameo of Upton Sinclair, and it's Bill Nye the Science Guy who's playing him. And I'm like, in the theater, I'm like, is that Bill Nye the Science Guy? And I pull up my phone, and I'm like, oh shit, they like Fincher casted Bill Nye randomly out of all fucking people to put him in the film. I was like, I love it. I liked it. He was in there for like 10 seconds. It was good. Enough. He was like 10-second cameo, and I was like, oh, solid, But I don't think the movie's forever. It's it's not a like, I can't watch this with like my cousins or my sister or my mom. They're not gonna like it. It's gonna be like, why do I care about who this guy is and what the fuck is Citizen Kane and blah 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 blah, all that shit.
All right, mailbag time.
But yeah, mailbag time. Let's see what we got.
Let's dive into it.
Nothing.
All right.
Oh no, we got
a lot, dude.
Oh shit.
I think we called some shots. We're taking shots at them, and they go, "Oh yeah, we don't write in. Eat this, motherfucker!" And now we have a ton.
Damn.
All right, this is from Ahmed Al Qadri. Hey Fahim and Ali, thank you for introducing us to classics. I am now a fan of their music. Their latest song with Weekend.
That was all
Their latest song, Weekends, that just dropped, is absolute fire. And he included the emoji, which is nice. Can't wait to see them live when concerts are back. Also, love the shirt. Very comfortable. Here's a photo of me rocking it at Pepe's Tacos. Love the pod.
Whoa.
Best part of my day. Ahmed. Let's throw the picture up.
Great. He looks great in that picture, man.
Oh my God, that looks. The biceps are popping. You can't see this, but I think that's a good sell for this shirt. If you've got some bicep action going on, it hugs it, so you get a little.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be swimming in it. You're not gonna have Popeye's olive arms. All right.
You know, it was made for him.
It was made for him. Tailor made. The beauty of the Dance Hour shirts is they form to your body. No matter what that is, it contours. It's a special technology that is proprietary. This is from Valid Mohammed. Hey, Fahim and Ali. I'm writing to share that the Dance Hour was my top podcast of the year according to Spotify. It helped me get through quarantine. Whoa. So thanks for that. Thanks, dude. Whoa. And then he sent me a screenshot to prove it. You know how Spotify does your 2020 Wrapped?
Yeah.
He's not lying because there's.
Hey man, we were the top podcast for a lot of people.
Yeah, baby. All right, this is from Julie Arciaga. Okay, meeting each other. The subject heading: how and when did you guys first meet, Julie?
Oh, well,
this is good.
I'll recall this.
Please.
We met outside of the Laugh Factory. It was October 2012.
Whoa!
I remember this because I just moved to LA for my internship at Nickelodeon, and my sister was visiting me too, and I didn't. Yeah, so my older sister came to LA to visit me, and I was on Facebook. And I saw a post, a Facebook status of you saying that like, oh, performing at Laugh Factory. If you need tickets, hit me up. So, or if you want on the guest list. So I was like, hey, can you add me? And then you're like, yeah, sure, I'll add your name. My sister and I go out there, and yeah. And then you're coming in, and I was like, oh, hey, Fahim, yeah, you got us on the list. Thank you. Blah 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 blah. And then small talk from there. And then like a week or two later, I'm back again with another friend. Same shit. It's the same shit for like 8 years. A couple weeks later, I'm back again with another friend, being like, "Hey, what's up, man? Thanks again." And every time I would come by, I would always be like, "Hey, man, if you need any help filming or anything, hit me up." You know, every time I would come back to these shows, I'd be like, "If you need anything, hit me up." And then from there, I think I came and helped out with the GOATFACE thing, the Das Racist video, and then slowly,
was that the first thing that you helped us out on?
Yeah. I was like an
video?
extra. Yeah, I got cut, but I was also helping, set up lights and stuff.
What scene were you in?
It was the fight scene. So we all got to your apartment late at night, and it was so funny too, because it was kind of like a shit show in the sense of like, there's this one part. Okay, we were filming in Fahim's garage, or not like parking lot. It was like this open parking lot thing. Yeah. And they were blocking a lot of cars. Like Aristotle had his like dolly set up and camera and lights, and he was kind of blocking cars. And this guy comes out that was living in Fahim's building, and he's trying to go and get juice, or he was gonna leave, and then he was gonna have to, and we would have to move everything to get his car out. Yeah. So Asif goes up to this guy, and he's like, where are you going? Where I think Aristotle and Asif go up to him, and they're questioning this guy, like, where are you going? And he's like, I'm going to the store. It's like, what are you going to get? Like, we can get it for you. What are you going to get? And he was like, I was going to get juice. And Asif's like, juice? What kind of juice? What kind of juice you want? I'll go get the juice for you right now. So this guy's like, and he says like some random juice. And Asif's like, all right, I'll go right now. The guy goes back to his apartment, and Asif runs out. Buys this guy juice.
He invented Postmates.
And he comes back, and I was like, this is just so... To me, I was sitting there watching this all go down. I was like, this is so odd. This is the weirdest thing.
That's what you had to do, though, because we were just run and gun. We didn't have any licenses. We were just guys doing it on our own. We can't... Sometimes if you want it to look good, you need the lights and all that stuff, and you don't have a permit or whatever, so you just have to guerrilla shoot it. And if shit like that would come up all the time, and you try to figure out a solution, like, how do we get this shot?
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's fucking do it before they shut us down, or what do you need? We'll get you the juice, and then You just have to problem solve.
I
You
was
have
just,
no money.
I was so surprised that the guy was just willing to go with it. Like, okay, get this for me. I'm not going to leave my apartment. And, you know.
I mean, it seemed like a win-win for him. You just, okay, cool,
Yeah.
you'll get it. And then everyone wins,
A funny little thing about that, Asif came back and was like, they didn't have the juice, but I got you something else.
That's hilarious.
But that's how we met. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I remember, I think I would see you at shows, and then it wasn't until you started helping us on some productions that I really got to know you.
Yeah. And then I think I did a Curveball.
Oh,
the ending of-
yeah.
Yeah, that was like the first thing that we filmed together.
That was fun.
That was like March 2013 or something. Yeah.
All right, this one is from Arham Zafar. Ending the year is the subject heading. What's up, Fahim and Ali? It's Arham again, the viewer who sent in the video of my dad shooting a basketball.
What's up, buddy?
Just wanted to wish you guys a happy holidays and or the end of such a crazy year. As 2020 comes to an end, what are your plans with the Dance Hour podcast in 2021? Are you going to try to take things up to the next level? I know that this year we had relatively consistent uploads, parentheses, with the exception of the break you guys took because of COVID, a merch drop, and several guests. Whatever direction you guys decide to take the podcast, I'll be an avid listener. Also, I did my Spotify Unwrapped today, and guess who was my most played podcast? Parentheses, image attached. You can use the image if you want. Spent almost 3,000 minutes listening to you guys. Here's the 2020 best Arham. Another Spotify, dude. Thanks, man. Gosh. Dude, what's on the docket? How are we kicking it up next year?
You know, I was actually thinking about this. I think we got to spice up our hot takes and really have some really spicy lava takes, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's for me. I don't know. I mean, we have our
that's your department.
We have a production studio. I mean, or like our filming studio that we film in. We production value. We have a neon sign. We got lights. We got 3 cameras that we got. You know, I think, you know, maybe beef it up with some guests and, you know, a little bit more hot takes and.
Yeah, I think more guests. I'm probably going to utilize the people I know, and maybe I want to get Bobby on, but then COVID happened, so I wonder if he'll come to the studio or if he's freaked out about that. We'll see, but I'll call him and see if he'll do it. But I want to get like more guests, you know?
Yeah. Baby steps. We can't just go
baby
full 100,
steps.
you know.
But also, I don't want to do a guest
real.
every week. I want to pick and choose. I don't want to be a slave to the guests. You know what I mean? Where you're like, all right, who's next week? Then who's next week? Who's next week? Yeah. They'll come when they come.
That was kind of the mistake. Not a mistake, but I mean, because our other podcast with Asif, The Apartment, was kind of designed on interviews and guests. Mm-hmm. And once it was like we weren't booking guests, it was just like, oh, shit, like this is not going to work out.
That's why it was just, fizzled. I wanted it to be you and me for a while and then introduce guests. Yeah. You come for
sporadically.
Us. Guests are the cherry. All right, let's see. Dang, let's see. All right. This is from Keegan Simmons. Subject heading pod write-in. Advice, question mark? I don't know. All right. I'm a relatively new Dance Hour listener, and I got to say, one of the best comedy podcasts I've listened to. Hey, thanks, man. The two of you have fantastic chemistry and rarely step on each other's toes. Instead of racing to a punchline or attempting to manufacture sound bites, you guys have fantastic input on comedy as a whole, including sketch, television, etc. It feels as though stand-ups look down upon television because they only see it through the lens of network multicams, even though scripted comedy is on a path of evolution fit for the streaming world. I hate to reach out to the abyss for guidance or advice, but a recent discovery has somewhat turned my life upside down. Backstory: at 14, I was diagnosed with ADHD and went through life from that point
I thought
on.
that was going somewhere else.
I know. Whenever you say diagnosed, like you don't, you gotta say I had ADHD. Like whenever you say diagnosed, you're preparing for the worst,
bro.
You can't be like, I was diagnosed with psoriasis. You know, or I was diagnosed with postnasal drip.
Oh my god. Okay, so all right, ADHD.
All right, but
common, very common. I got ADHD.
But as I grew up, I started to reflect and realize that I was just a kid and grew out of almost all of it. But I still didn't constitute normal, as some of my behaviors and communication throws a lot of people off. I was under the impression I was a love him or hate him kind of guy. But in September, I had my diagnosis reevaluated, and lo and behold, I'm on the fucking spectrum. Now I'm 23, and my life as I once knew it is completely different. One round of applause for autism. I moved to Los Angeles from Oregon after graduating college 2019 to pursue scripted comedy writing, parentheses, sketch, television, etc., and stand-up. But it seems like stand-up won't be in the cards for quite some time. Even though I'm doing PA work on soul-crushing reality shows, I believe I'm still on the right path because I have so much passion for writing comedy and, dare I say, potential. But since my diagnosis, I found myself a bit anxious and paralyzed whenever I opened Final Draft. I was also a producer development intern for a production company at a major studio. Yo, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, won't say where. I mean, he says it, but that's for my eyes and not yours. Okay.
Sure.
Which ended up destabilizing some of the confidence I thought was sturdy, even though I look back and realize he was trying to flex on me by gaslighting and dunking on me. I've been in LA since January, and I haven't made any connections with like-minded comedy-oriented people in this stage of my life. I thrive in a group / collaborative setting, which may be why I'm so drawn to the idea of a writer's room. Do you guys have any advice for meeting comedy-minded individuals for a mildly Asperger-y guy like myself? I'd love to hear your guys' input on doing so in the current climate. Keep doing what you're doing, Keegan.
Well,
P.S. If you guys ever need, should I do the P.S. real quick? P.S. If you guys ever need or would like help with the podcast production, I have experience with audio editing. That's cool. Just offering to help at the bottom.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Miguel, right? You know that TikTok audio where he was like, I'm panicking because I'm gonna lose my job. You know, you get that TikTok reference?
No. I haven't seen that one.
It was a joke to our our PA and editor Miguel. But anyway, I think this guy's doing great. He's been here for less than a year, and he's PAing on reality shows, and he's a development intern at a studio production company. Like, dude, you are making moves that millions of individuals cannot make in 1 year. And I think that's my takeaway. I think like whatever you're doing well. Like you're doing it, but Fahim, I think you have more input on the comedy aspect of it,
Yeah, I would say just create and find other people who enjoy doing what you do as well. You find like-minded individuals just by
but his thing is like, how does he find these guys or these women or individuals?
Maybe you find other people on the jobs you're on who are interested in the same things as you. Maybe they would be down to like do a sketch. Like, I don't know what the skill set of yours is. Are you a writer and you need someone to direct it, or vice versa? You just, I don't know. You kind of find people in your peer group as you live life, and maybe, I don't know, if you creating attracts others. That's true. Most of the people in this town, or just most of the people in life, are just waiting to be tapped to do whatever it is. It's harder to do. There's less people who just do and create. And that is alluring and attractive. People are attracted to that. Even if you're not in your final form, the fact that you're taking steps and actually you're actually shoveling dirt, that's more than a lot of other people. A lot of other people are just sort of waiting to be anointed. Yeah. Or waiting for an audition to break them.
Yeah.
Just waiting for someone else to tell them they're okay instead of doing it on their own.
Yeah, you're on the right track. Again, it's been less than a year that you've been in Los Angeles and in Hollywood doing this. Give it a little bit more time. You'll meet people throughout the, like when I was there year one, I hardly knew anybody. It took me years till I developed any kind of relationships with people outside of my small little friend network. But it just takes time. It takes time. And,
it takes time. It takes time. And also, if you are trying to create these friendships or working relationships, the key question is, how can you be value added? Like, take Ali's story from what he just said a few minutes ago. He would come to my show several times, and he was just a guy who came to a show and then would always offer to help. And, you hear that, and I didn't have anything at the time, but then at one time I did need him, and I remembered that he offered his help like that, and that's being value added. And we have this great working relationship now, but it starts from how can I be useful? Yeah.
I think Kanye had this great quote like way back in the day, and he was like, "Get used to being used." And it was like, you don't want to be useless. You want to, you don't want to be abused or overused or misused, but you gotta have some kind of value to be used by other individuals. You have and that goes off to what Fahim was saying. Like, you have to bring something to the table. So, you don't want to be useless. So,
Yeah. Like if, like even early on with Aristotle, I would always have all these great sketch ideas. Like the first one we did was Dominoes, which we talked about. Yeah. But he saw me for a great sketch writer, and he saw an opportunity for himself by saying, "Let me direct that." And that's very attractive to me, because this idea that lives in my mind, I can now finally execute it.
Yeah.
And then that's cool. And then everyone wins, and then you just form that relationship, and you meet other people, and you just rinse and repeat that throughout your career in life, and you have all these connections.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the broad strokes, I guess. Hopefully that helps. Austin Lopez, what up, guys? Hey, Fahim and Ali. It's been a minute since I messaged the pod. I hope this email finds you well in these uncertain times. Lol. But seriously, hope you and your families are safe. I have 2 questions. Okay. That one I don't want to do. The second one, what are your thoughts on Rogan and others moving to Texas? Is that something you would ever consider doing? I live in South Texas, and while it's no LA admittedly, I think it would be dope if you did. Look forward to seeing you live once the clubs start opening up. Thanks for taking my questions, Austin.
I feel like if you're on that caliber...
It seemed kind of brash up at first for some people, like, oh man, he's moving all the way to Texas. But as this thing is dragging on, he almost seems like the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know much about Rogan. I'll listen to him occasionally. But I think when you're on that caliber of Rogan being like the biggest podcast,
Yeah.
You have the luxury of kind of being based anywhere and having guests kind of come to you.
He
so
could
it makes
move
sense.
to the moon and be fine.
Yeah. Like if you listen to NPR, Terry Gross is based out of Pittsburgh or Philadelphia or one of those Pennsylvania cities. I was about to throw some shade at Pennsylvania. But, all of her guests call in remote, or like go somewhere to a studio and speak to her. So again, once you're on that level and that platform, obviously for me and Fahim to be based out of some, obscure city in America that's not, industry driven, it just wouldn't make sense for us. But I do see myself leaving LA hopefully in the next 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
London, baby. Overseas, international. That's the plan. 2025, God willing, inshallah.
Yeah.
London.
Well, I texted Rogan yesterday. I was just like, have you been getting up around Texas? If so, what's it like? He goes, yeah, I've been getting up the past couple of weeks. Because I saw him and Chappelle are doing that show. Did you see that? They're doing some show in Texas,
no.
I think. And so I was like, oh man, have you been getting up? And what's it like? He goes, it's awesome. He goes, they're not afraid out here. Like, they're taking precautions. They're not as afraid, and they're dying for comedy. So that was literally cool. I was like, damn. Well, their cases aren't like LA, because California's pretty bad right now, right? With that 15% ICU, and
yeah.
Even though they're more lax, I don't think they're as bad as us.
I just read that cases are spreading in a lot of rural areas as well, more than it has been. But who knows? Vaccines around the corner, so some people are just wanna YOLO it,
Yeah.
you know?
So I think you did see this exodus from LA, from some of the top tier guys just moving to, like, you know, Theo is in Nashville now, I think. And once you reach a certain point, you can do that. You're big enough where you can do it wherever. You've got your own fans. You've got your own machinery in place. For guys like, there's other comics, like I would say, you know, like me and some peers and like you cannot negate the fact that Hollywood has an industry and an infrastructure built inside. These people may have moved, but that doesn't mean that Hollywood doesn't exist and that it's not built for this type of industry. They're able to do what they do anywhere. But a person who's not that big would be shooting themselves in the foot by like following suit. You know what I mean? Because the whole movie industry is still here and TV and so it makes sense if you've reached a certain tier, but beyond that, you're better off still staying in LA, I think.
Yeah.
Unless you're trying to do stand up, because you can't do that right now. So I've been contemplating that, where I go, do I just kind of go somewhere else for a bit? And because I can write by day on Zoom, and then I could do stand up at night.
Yeah.
I can technically be anywhere, and I mean, I would like to be able to do stand up.
That's true.
All right, there's that. This is from Tabrak Sadiq. Best case scenario. All right, lads, just listen to your latest episode. Fahim, you mentioned doing it your own way, a la Rami and Hasan. Got me wondering, what is your best case scenario? You wear many hats, from stand-up to sketch to acting and now writing. What's the dream? Or shall I say, what's your I did the thing, you can chill now? Question for Ali. Big studio comes to you and tells you they love your work. Here's an unlimited budget. What are you shooting? Big budget action, documentary, horror? Cheers. Tabarak. All right. Let's see. For me, my
What's
dream
your
thing. Sketch show, variety show. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
That's pretty
we lost Fahim's video.
Hold on.
But we hear his audio.
That's the trouble that doing Zoom on your phone. People call you, you cut out.
Oh no.
Fix that Zoom.
So a variety sketch show.
Yeah, variety sketch show.
Fahim
just kind of
Anwar,
what I do on Instagram,
variety
but like
hour.
a higher produced, sort of like GOATFACE, sort of like just a hodgepodge of all these random great ideas that I love to do. Something like that. And if not that, just whatever it ends up being, just something where it's mine, where I get to write, act, and direct it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be involved in the whole creative process, from developing it to executing it. That's just kind of, because then you have your stamp on it all the way through, and it's your vision all the way.
Yeah.
Something like that. What about you?
That's amazing. Definitely. It depends what stage of my career, am I in. If it's right now, there's like a few small projects. I mean, they're not small, but I think, I would do this action film that I've been like writing out over the last couple like years. It's very influenced by early 90s, like Van Damme films, Lionheart.
Oh man, I love those.
Yeah, where it's like so I would do this action film where basically a group of French dudes, a French North African guy comes to like some rural America and just kills a bunch of cops, crooked cops, bad cops that are working alongside this right-wing militia funneling drugs into a city. So he has to avenge his brother's death. Very, very, and it's, again, these are pulled from like all these films that I love, and like those shitty 80s, 90s action films. So a lot of blood, a lot of explosions, a lot of killing.
Throwback,
but heart
into it.
At the core of it.
All right, this is from Alicia B. Gray, Mailbag Q. How do you see people assess whether they can make it in the business as they hope for? I think Fahim is on the upswing, but how ambiguous is success or progress for others in the business?
I wouldn't say that I've made it, but I've been able to like make a lifestyle or a living off of doing what I do in Los Angeles. And when I see people coming in and I've been there for like 8 years, so I haven't been there for like years, decades and decades, but I notice people come in with like this naivete, and I think everyone comes in and then, you know, you face reality real quick. And there's some people who live in delusion for way longer. And I feel like once you can't see reality and you're just stuck in this delusion of like, oh, all I got to do is just like put together a little pitch packet and, you know, send it to my friend and hey, we got a show. Like,
Yeah.
they think it's that easy, you know? And once you kind of think it, I'm sure, you know, you can talk to some people and there's like, it is that like people who've made it, you know, they can say shit like, it is that easy. All you got to do is have a great idea. But the reality is it isn't. And I've noticed a lot of people over the last couple of years that I've met kind of live in this delusion that they think like all they got to do is like one or two things, make a little treatment outline, pitch packet, you know, and then bada bing, bada boom, they got their show or their movie. And then, you know, once they face the reality, it's too late, and it's like, all right, LA's not it for me. You know, they have to head back. So I would say,
I would say have realistic goals. Some people, I don't know, they go like, I want to be a Marvel superhero from the jump, and then they drive to Hollywood.
Yeah.
That's just, I don't know, maybe some people need that as a catalyst. But I'm just so pragmatic and practical that my goal from the jump was just, like, I had the loftier goal, like the SNL thing, or that's what got me into stand-up. But then the more realistic one that I set for myself was, can I make a living comparable to engineering doing what I love? Doing comedy in some capacity. That is success. And that's very manageable. That's doable. That's a manageable goal. And then if you exceed it, it's great. Then you're just in it. But like, you're not going to be depressed, because if you don't set it like that, then if you attain that, which is something, you're still depressed because you're not in a Marvel movie or something.
Yeah.
So realistic goals, set it, manageable goals. And then I would always assess my career after every year and just be like, am I better off than I was the year before? Am I on an upward trend? Am I progressing? And if I am, I'm on the right path. But if you're plateauing for several years or just like puttering around and nothing's happening, then you gotta reassess. But every year I was in stand-up, I would have more to show for it. Obviously, I wasn't where I wanted to be after 1 or 2 or 3 or a year, but like I was edging closer. I was leveling up.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how you determine whether you're successful or on the right track. All right, this is from Rizik, Fahim Anwar Dance Hour, subject heading, hey, Fahim and Ali, I recently downloaded TikTok just to check out your channel, and what a pleasant surprise it was. There was a lot of stand-up and sketches that I haven't seen on there, parentheses, not on YouTube. Just wanted to shout it out for anyone listening in. Question for you both. How long will you guys wait before taking the vaccine? Will you take it as soon as it's available? Thank you. Rizik. First, about the TikTok. I like Instagram, just in terms of a creative portfolio, better than TikTok. TikTok has that one minute limit. So IGTV can be as long as it needs to be. So I'm not cropping bits. I am for Reels. That's fucking annoying. I have to make it 30 seconds. But if you want to see the full gamut of my creativity, I think Instagram is a better place than TikTok, if anyone's listening. I'll put sketches, stand-up clips, and podcast clips and all that on my IG. I do TikTok just because that's the hottest app right now, and it's the only place where shit can kind of go viral. Instagram doesn't anymore. But if we're just talking about let's look at from a creative standpoint, I think Instagram is the better platform because your hands aren't tied to a minute.
Okay.
So that's my PSA. Yeah, I begrudgingly do TikTok just get the viral lotto ticket. I guess I'll post this shit. The vaccine, we talked about it, right?
Yeah, we talked about it last week. We made reference to I Am Legend.
Yes, this is true. So dig into the catalog. We're not doing it again.
Nope. We don't repeat ourselves on this podcast. Actually, we do.
Yeah, we do several times, but we don't do it knowingly, unintentionally.
Yeah.
We're not going to intentionally repeat ourselves. Okay. This is for my bro. Do we do my bro here?
Oh, speaking of that. Oh,
What?
okay. I went to get my mom's a hygienist here, so I went to go get my teeth cleaned, and she did some X-rays, and they discovered cavities, and my mom took it as if like I have cancer or something.
Damn.
And she's just like, so I go to cleaning and I come back home, and she comes home a couple hours later. She was like, "How could you? How could you not?
You brought
be so
shame upon
negligent?"
the family with your cavities."
Dude, she was like the other hygienists were like, "How did Ali get cavities?" She's like, "I didn't know what to say to. How could I look them in the face and say my son?" I was like, "All right, look, I'm sorry." Like, so okay, so it's, yeah, so the Dr. Saib is in the mailbag.
Dentist side. Subject heading comedy. Shalom from the 206. You guys detailed getting cut or in shape for Domino's YouTube sketch you did with Ari. Then Ali said something like, "You can't be shredded person and a comedian. The two don't go
Yes.
together." But why does fat and comedy go together? Then I started to think, who's a shredded comedian that is well known? The only person I could think about was Carrot Top. Dude got jacked up, roids level. After that, I couldn't really think of anyone. But Carrot Top didn't start out being shredded. He kind of morphed into it over the years. If you guys got anyone on the shredded comics list, let us know. Chappelle bulked up, right?
He did, and then,
Who else? Alonzo Bowden is pretty shredded. Mateo Lane is pretty shredded. These are like, I just know all the comics, So other people,
Yeah.
these names I'm saying, these are like headlining comedians and stuff, but maybe our listeners wouldn't know who they are. But these are headliners who are shredded.
yeah.
I'm trying to think. Any other famous comedians who are like buff?
Look, again, this isn't my theory. This isn't the Ali Baluch. Like, this is what I believe. It's just what I've heard.
This is science.
Other people.
This is science.
So this is what I've heard, that I've heard this commentary, this theory that a comedian, once they get really into shape or fit, they're not that funny. So I would love to claim this hot take, this lava take, but it's not my intellectual property.
Yeah. Why does fat and funny go together? I think it's because the best comedy is self-deprecating. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't think like because someone is overweight, it makes them funny. I think even if you're like a very ordinary, unfit individual, if you're slim and whatever, but I think once you develop muscles and like you have the physique, whether you were overweight or whether you're underweight, and whatever it is, you've become a very built individual. I feel like the essence, the core, your heart, the soul of your humor is gone.
Like, I want to see.
Again,
I want to see
The
Rock. I want to see The Rock do stand up. You see all those muscles. I think what it is you see all those muscles and you question how much time was put into the jokes.
Yeah.
You go. Obviously, more time was spent on the body than the jokes.
Yeah. You can't.
Given The Rock's schedule, he probably has 10 minutes to write jokes to be that big.
Yeah.
I love how every podcast we just sort of analyze the Rock and his muscles and how he doesn't have a lot of time.
Hey, I will say The Rock was hilarious during his WWF days. Like he was, if you watch a lot of the YouTube
was
videos,
not as muscular.
he was still shredded, but he wasn't like
A
fucking
mountain?
Pain and Gain. Yeah. Weirdly roided Rock,
All right, there's more to this. Then my next thought was Fahim's checklist or bucket list is eventually doing a Netflix special. But what if Netflix says, okay, we'll do a special with you, but we want to launch you as one of our fat comedians. Like we want you to be 300 pounds. Our analysis shows that audience is ready for a larger 300-pound brown person comic, and we want to push that on the streaming service. Number one, do you do it to secure the Netflix special? If the answer is no, why? If you're okay going in one direction for something, why not be open going in the reverse direction for something else that you've wanted to do in your life?
Definitely a brother question. This is
Yeah.
definitely a question a brother would ask.
Yeah, I wouldn't put on a ton of weight for a Netflix special. I'm not gonna Christian Bale it just for a comedy special.
Really?
You think I'm gonna get just fat for a special?
If you get the budget and the platform, and you have, but okay, I think the question is what.
Yo, you know
what
what'd be
is the weight?
hilarious? Hold on, this would be great if like I shoot this documentary. I think that if I balloon up to like 300 pounds, I'll finally get this Netflix special. So it's me getting really fat and doing stand up around town, and I get on a scale and it says 300 pounds, and I think I'm gonna get this Netflix special, and they're like, what are you talking about? And I'm just a fat guy.
Yeah. See, my thing would be like, what's the weight for you to in this documentary? What weight is the weight that you have to get to while you like eat and like, try not to move too much,
Sure.
stay in bed in this doc?
Probably like, I don't know. Maybe you guys know, your listeners. Write in fahimanwardancehour@gmail.com. Tell me how many pounds I need to be like Netflix fat streaming. Funny. Let's see. If you are saying, okay, still going. If you are saying no to being 300 pounds for a Netflix special contract, what if they counter? Okay, we'll commit to 3 Fahim Anwar 1 hour specials. We launch over 2 years. Do you say yes then? I guess at some point you got to say yes to being the 300-pound comic they are pushing you to be. What is the level where you go, yes, sign me up, I'm all in? The kicker is you got to stay 300 pounds plus forever. No pulling a Rebel Wilson or Adele or Chris Pratt being famous as a fat person, then after 4 to 5 years start losing the weight type of deal. Well, Chris Pratt doesn't really count because he didn't really get famous until after he got shredded. Fat life. Broski. He was pretty famous on Parks and Rec. I mean, obviously he wasn't Marvel level famous, but he was famous when he was huskier.
Yeah. Was that the end of the email?
Ooh. Yeah, it's the end of it. I mean, it's so fucking long. You want there to be more? And every paragraph is just more about being fat. Like, I thought he would switch gears with a new paragraph, but he's like, no, here's another idea on being fat. Hey, if you want to write some hate, I should give his email. Like, hey, if anybody wants to direct some hate email at my brother for fat shaming, write him at. He's getting so scared right now.
But these were hypothetical, like,
these are
positive.
Terrible hypotheticals. This is like 6 paragraphs of a hypothetical. Like, if we're gonna do nonsense like this, keep it to 1 paragraph.
Look, it's what I expect from an Anwar brother,
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? I like how every podcast I have to snap at you and take you to task. What the fuck is that supposed to mean, Ali?
This is why we're digital.
This is true. I had this thought, like, why do women get thick? They get that loving term, thick. It's cool. Guys don't have that. We're just fat guys. You know what I mean? There is no thick for men.
Yeah.
Why can't we have something? We need a new term.
We don't have that privilege.
Husky's not good.
I haven't heard anyone be referred to as husky in like 20 years.
Maybe when you're a child, you're referred to as husky if you're a fat kid. Right?
Yeah.
Because fat kid is too abrasive, so they just go, he's husky.
Oh, he's husky, yeah.
Yeah.
And
we
don't have that privilege to have a...
Yeah. I'm rallying. This is a rally cry for everyone. Men should have our own term for thick.
Well, how about you think of one, or if our listeners have a term.
Yeah, please. If you have a term that you think would be good, write in fahimanwardancehour@gmail.com. What if we call it thick for men? like it's like hair coloring, like just for men. It's just thick for men. Maybe it has 3 C's. When you think of like thick, what is thick?
Thick is
just
sexy.
Sort of like,
I don't think
thick. This is an unpopular opinion. This is a hot take. Sure. I think thick is kind of like maybe like fat with confidence. Right?
I don't know. I think thick is you have you're curvy or voluptuous in certain areas of your body, lower waist, thighs and buns are referred to as thick,
Yes, there are people who are curvy, and that's not fat. People have different definitions,
Yeah.
but there are some people who are just like naturally curvy, and I wouldn't call them like, or I don't think I would classify them as fat. Like I wouldn't call anyone fat, you know what I mean? But like when you say fat, you could picture it in your mind, you know?
Yeah. So I think the word thick has like this very like sexual connotation versus like curvy is more like
is thick like
embodiment.
like you know how what is it, like blood pressure? What is it called? It's called like pre-hypertension. So thick is like pre-fat, right?
Possibly.
You know, you get your blood pressure, they'll be like, okay, you don't have hypertension, you have pre-hypertension. So I think there's fat, and then thick is like pre-fat. You're not fat. You're still okay. You're in this band though.
Okay.
You're not like athletic or fit. You're a little beyond that, but you're not fat. And you are very confident because
and that encompasses the word thick. Is that what you're breaking down?
I think I'm trying to analyze and trying to break down thick.
But I feel like you can be athletic and thick as well too when you're, for women, it translates whether you're naturally curvy or athletically built.
Yes. There are people who are athletic and curvy, but people take liberties as well though. Like you can get beyond athletic and curvy and thick is still used.
Still be thick. Yeah.
I say some people are liberal with thick, where they may be obese, and they still use the term thick.
And I think it goes down to what others perceive, because some people will look at that and be like, "Nah, that's thick."
There's a sliding scale. Everyone has a different sliding scale.
It's a spectrum.
Of thick. It's a spectrum.
And men don't have an equivalent term, and I think we should come up with one that is sexy. Like a guy. I mean, dad bod was a thing for a bit, but
that's not empowering. Why do women get thick and we get dad bod?
Yeah.
Do you think women want mom bod? How come they got thick?
Not to make it, dad bod was just a weird. But yeah, men need their own. We need to
our own
appropriate a term. Yeah. So for our listeners, please help us brainstorm.
Figure out a term, yeah.
Because I want to be that male equivalent of thick.
We all do.
Month. I'm actually gonna, yeah. But is that it for the mailbag?
Let me see.
What do we
got? There's one more. Should we do it?
Whoa! Hey, our mailbag is full today.
It's thick, dude.
It is thick. We have a thick mailbag.
This mailbag is thick. All right. Hello, Fahim and Ali. I always butcher his name. He's trying to help me out here. Okay. Pronounced Kaber. Nice.
Kabir.
Kaber Barjawar. Oh my God. He's trying to help me with the first name, and I'm trying to specify with the last name, but I'm going to butcher the last name. No, it's not. It's not who you said.
Okay.
Long-time listener, second-time emailer. Glad to see you both are doing well. First of all, I don't find Ali is the jabroni with his cousin situation. It's clearly an understood fact that as the host, you bring the majority, but at least the stable ingredients. Okay. Now let's go a bit deeper to an unrelated note. Recently, the matter of Fahim being possibly selected to on SNL has been brought quite a few times. My question to you both is, in what instance did you reject a gig only to regret it afterwards because you saw others take it up and perform well on it? Keep up the good work. Kaber. Do I regret not taking anything? Okay, like the job, okay. You know how we've talked about the writing job I'm doing?
Yeah.
I watched the pilot, like when I met with the EPs on Zoom and just to see if they were asking me if I'd want to write for it and just kind of describing how it is. And then I got to watch the pilot. And first of all, when I say that they wanted me to be the guy, like there was interest. There's no guarantee that I would have been the guy. I would have to probably audition for it too. So like, I mean, I'm just clearing that up. But as I'm watching, but I didn't even try though, you know, just because, you know, I had all that soul searching. I'm like, do I want to do this? But I'm watching the pilot and it's a multicam and I'm watching it and I go, oh, that looks fun. Like, but it still has too much baggage associated with it where I didn't want, I'm still comfortable in my decision. I'm happy I did what I did.
Yeah.
But there is a piece of me that goes like, oh, that looks like fun.
Yeah.
But it just had these other things that I that weren't for me. So I like that I still get to be a part of it in the writer's room, and maybe there'll be guest starring opportunities in the future, and I get to be a part of it in a more nimble way where I'm not locked in.
Yeah.
But there's a little bit of that where you go, oh, that would have been kind of. It's just cool to be part of a sitcom, or I've done some sitcoms before, and it's fun. Okay. But I'm still comfortable in your decision. Yeah. Gotcha. But that's kind of close to what he's asking here.
Yeah.
What about you?
Sense. No. Anything I've ever turned down, I'm like, bullet dodged. You know, like because I've taken on a lot. I've done my fair share of like projects where I'm just like, oh, why the fuck am I doing this? You know, so I think I've learned that honestly, it's not to sound like it's all about money, but at the end of the day, it is, and it's not about how much I get paid; it's how much money is in the production. Mm-hmm. So if I have the budget to hire a gaffer, a DP, a PA, an editor, I'll take that project. And you know, there are projects where, dude, this is the funny. This happens to me all the time. A client would be like, I want to do this commercial, and they'll show me like $1 million, and they'll literally be like, oh, I know the budget of this commercial. It was $1 million or like $500,000. And I'm like, oh, wow. And they're like, I want to do this. Exactly. I'm like, cool. What's your budget? $1,300. Like, you just said this video cost $1 million to make. What makes you think I can do it for $1,300? You know? And it's like, I can do my best and I can make it look good, but the stress that I take on to like produce it, do the logistics, shoot it, edit, like all that, go deal with like months of like notes going back and forth, like it's not worth $1,300 at all. Yeah, you know. So anytime I've like turned down a project, I've been like, you know, no regrets.
Nice.
You know?
That's the end of the mailbag, man.
Well, that's the end of the mailbag.
We did it.
Know, that's the thickest bag that we've had in weeks.
Bag.
Since, you know.
There you have it.
Fahim, you have a song for us to dance out to, but before they leave, email us more questions if you have questions. Or if you have the answers to our questions that we asked. Fahim Anwar at dancehour@gmail.com.
fahimanwardancehour@gmail.com. Also, rate, review, star the podcast, all that shit. Comment on the YouTube, thumbs up it.
Subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube. Hit the bell notification so you get notified every time we upload.
Here, wait. Do you not see me now?
No, you're gone. We see a turtle.
Nice. But does it say mystery headliner?
Yes.
Nice. That's when I did this like Washington D.C. Zoom show. And they said they would call it a mystery headliner at the end, so I made my name Mr. E Headliner. All right, so I got to read this JPEG, because this is the song I picked out, but unfortunately I can't be on screen while I read it to you.
That's fine.
Are you ready?
My library. They can. Yeah, we're ready.
All right, I'm telling the people, guys, this song is called Stellae, Stellae, and it's by EVXE. EV.EXI and Roduso. This is tough, man. It's a tongue twister, this song. Rodosu. All right.
Okay.
It's going to play if you're listening, and if you're watching, you're just going to see me pop up. Here we go, then. I'm back. And there was the song, and we'll see you guys next time.
Peace, you guys. Take care.
Peace. I'm gonna take a dip in my pool, guys. All right.
I'm about to go grab a book from my fucking library. Fahim is taking his shirt off and diving into the pool. All right, yes.
Peace.
Yeah.